we construct sentences. That's just super excited.
Yeah. I've always found it so like, there's all these different languages, and they all seem to be so much as they do a lot of that, right? And like there's similar sounds for a lot of the same things. I always thought there's like one person who spoke a language, and then like they heard him, and like they're stood up on top of a mountain, and everybody heard it differently around the mountain, and made their own language stuff. They all came from the same place.
Yeah. I'm studying abroad next spring. But during next spring, when I'll be abroad, they're offering a course called historical linguistics, which is all about that and how to, trace languages back to their source.
Right. Yeah.
Really, it's upsetting that I'm missing the course. But I'm sure I'll have it.
Where are you going?
I'm applying to 2 visas. One of them is in. I'm applying to a program in Paris and another program in which I think I probably would choose for the Paris one actually.
I'm
in Europe.
Right.
I just took like school for I'm going actually next week. A week from tomorrow. 2 days. There's a conference, American Jewish Community. Cool. To Tel Aviv, yeah. I'm sure it's it's going to be, meetings all over. I'm super excited. And then I go right to it. That's my son.
Good.
How's the family?
The family's good. Sarah just finished her first year in college.
Where'd she go?
She goes to Elon.
Elon, yeah.
She's doing the nursing program.
Very cool.
But she doesn't have a nice, it's a smaller population. They have a nice level. It's pretty good.
Very active.
That was not me, but I'd like to. Does that mean anything? If I want to? Pete Townsend on the bass. Yes.
Yeah, they have to. They'll all send me all of their updates and everything. Aaron.
Yes.
No idea what he wants to do. Yeah. Lots of sports. We'll figure it out.
Lots of time.
Yeah. But he's good. Everybody's good. Everybody's healthy. Yep. Well, it's fun to have you back.
Definitely.
For a few weeks. Have you gone the rest of the summer?
Yep. I'll be back in August.
But when I'm alone, I can do it. I can make any mistake that I want. It's like that's how we roll here. What I would love to know here's. Well, this is not cool.
Trying to parse these things.
Very good. All right, good.
This one?
Pretty sure, yeah.
They're right.
Let's take this. Yep, they're all his.
Orange, yellow. I saw another one. All right. Not a problem. Okay.
The one I took is his too.
Where's I don't think so.
He likes to play this.
All right. He's got his stuff there now.
Wow. Huh? The building?
No. The street.
Oh, really? When was that?
I don't know.
7:01.
All right. You think she's in now?
I don't know, but I can tell you that the streaming's been on.
Tom's a really nice guy.
At least it was a nice gesture.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just saw something. Okay.
All right, well, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We're so glad that you're here. Welcome. Particularly happy that Nashira is here. It's always a joy for me when Nashira is here because I get to hear some really beautiful, beautiful music. As a reminder to you, I'm glad I'm remembering to say this early, because sometimes I say it, 15 minutes into the service and so much has been done already. When Nashira is singing, it is not intended for you just to listen. I mean, you can. No one's stopping you. However, Nashira's place is for the purpose of encouraging you to sing. They want you to sing with them. You know what else? They want you to join Nashira, to be perfectly honest. You can do so. There's a sign up right out in the lobby when you get out there for the Oneg Shabbat. You can see the sign up. But the point is they want you to sing with them. And so please do not feel as if when they're singing, you have to be quiet so as to because you're going to mess up what they do. They're good. They can handle it. They want you to sing with them. We begin with the singing of Et Dodim Kala, not in the prayer book, but I did put the words on the inside of the service program that you received. So our service on Shabbat officially opens with the lighting of the Shabbat candles, and you can find that on page 120 in your prayer book. And let's see here. Just double checking that I got the right page. Yes, 120. And so, pardon me, we continue now with the blessing of the Shabbat candles. And 123 now. If you turn and join me in Kiddush L'Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ava uvratzon inchilanu Zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit Ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh Zecher letziyat mihitzrayim Kivanu v'charta v'yotanu kidashta Mikohamim v'shabbat kodshecha v'yahava uvratzon hinchatanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat l'chaim. All right. So we continue down Kabbalat Shabbat Lane with the singing of Zamru. It can be found on page 134. And on page 138, this is Lecha Do Di. And as is our custom here, we're going to do the first, second, fifth, and ninth verses of Lecha Do Di. And when we reach the ninth, which is the final verse, I'll give you a signal. And we're going to rise and face the entrance because the Kabbalists of Sfat, they would go out into the fields and greet the Sabbath bride. And so that's how we kind of greet the Sabbath bride as well, by facing the entrance. And so that's the final verse. I'll tell you when we get there. For now, page 138, Lecha Dodi. So our service continues now with the Baruch Hu, which is on page 146, and we'd like to ask you to remain standing, and as we continue with this beautiful melody, which I think you know from other places and other songs, same one, 146, the Baruch Hu.
Understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Yalla la la la, 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 yalla la la
Remain standing, 149. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Amariv Aravim. We continue now with the Shema, page 152.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Please be seated. We continue on page 154 with V'ahavta. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta baham b'shivtecha b'vetecha uvlechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot ben enecha וכתבתם המזוזות ביתך ובשעריך
למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Page 159, sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravaged by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. That song, Mi Chamocha, on the facing page 158.
Mi Chamocha, Ha'elim Adonai, Mi Chamocha, Nedabah Kodesh, Norah, Tehilot, Oseh, Felem, Norah, Tehilot, Oseh, Felem, Malchutecha, Rahuvanecha, Okei Ayam, Moshe, Miriam, Zeli, Anu Ve'amru, Zeli, Anu Ve'amru, Adonai, Yimlo, Leolam, Va'ed, Adonai, Yimlo, Leolam, Va'ed.
That special song and prayer for Shabbat is called V'shamru. You can find it on page 162 in your Siddur.
Leolam,
So our service continues now with the tefillah, which is essentially the heart of the service. It begins with singing of Adonai Sifatai Tiftach, which can be found on page 164. And then it goes in succession, 166, 168, and 170, with the three the three first prayers of the tefillah. And we do those all in Hebrew. And Adonai Sifatai Tiftach, 164, we invite everyone to please rise.
Open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel, Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לפני פניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה כל הטרף להושיע, מוריד הטל. מחכה חיים בחסד, מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו, נשנה אחר. כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יעללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. Please be seated. So every once in a while I take a moment to talk about this because it is important to me and mildly confusing for if you're somewhat of an irregular in our sanctuary. And that is the prayer book in the first prayer called the Avot and Imahot. The prayer book talks about Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And then we add, and the prayer book includes Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel. However, the prayer book says Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Now, you might be thinking, okay, big deal. Why is it that we switch the last two mothers' names? Are we just making a mistake? But why is it that we do it? And I feel actually somewhat strongly about this, and we have been doing Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel, Leah first and Rachel second. And the reason why is because if our goal is to be egalitarian by adding the matriarchs to this prayer, which in Orthodox tradition they do not say the matriarchs. We do. In Reformed tradition, of course we do. So Elohei Sarah, that's Abraham's wife, first generation, plus they were husband and wife. Of course she would go first. Elohei Rivka, that's Isaac's wife, second generation. Of course she would go second. Now the question is, what about Leah and Rachel? Both were married to Jacob. Both were that same generation. In fact, they were even siblings. So how do we decide who goes first and who goes second? I have an idea. Let's do it alphabetically. So Leah, L comes before Rachel, R. And you might say, yeah, but that's not the Hebrew. Good point. Still, Leah, Lamed, comes before Rachel, Resh. And then you might say, all right, why don't we just do it by age? Leah was older. Okay, fine. What about who was married first? Again, that's Leah. I cannot think of one compelling reason that Rachel should go first in order, with the exception of, and please do not groan when I say this, she was Jacob's favorite. Now, okay, I suppose that's a reason, but if our goal is to be egalitarian, then I wouldn't base order on what a male likes, who the male likes more. I just think that that's exactly the opposite way to do it. So yes, people have said, oh yeah, but she was the one that Jacob wanted to marry. Yeah, but he married both. So we change it up. So if you've always wondered, like, what's up with them? Can't they read the prayer book? What's up? Yeah, we can. We are deliberately changing and switching the names because I believe that if our purpose is to be egalitarian, it's the only way to do it. So there you go. Good, thank you. And you can, hopefully you can explain that, to others too when you have a chance. We continue with Shalom Rav, our evening prayer for peace, which can be found on page 178.
Shalom Rav Israel Ta'asim, Ta'asim Leolam. Shalom Rav Israel Ta'asim, Ta'asim Leolam. Ki Atahu Melech Adonai Kol HaShalom. Ki Atahu Melech Adonai Kol HaShalom. Shalom Rav Israel Ta'asim, Ta'asim Leolam. Shalom Rav Israel Ta'asim, Ta'asim Israel, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom,
Absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much. So one of our traditions that we like to do here on Shabbat is to create a sense of community by sharing the things that bring us joy, and then also afterwards the things that bring us struggle. And because, if you have joy, what's joy if you don't have the capacity to share it? And if you have pain, what better way to ease that pain than by sharing it? And so I'd like to invite you to share joy, to tell me about the things that have brought you joy recently. And then we can sing a few words of Ken Yehi, Ken Yehi, Ken Yehi, and Ken Yehi. That just means may it be. Or if you really want to get all Beatles on us, you could be let it be. Let it be, let it be. Ken Yehi, Ken Yehi. So, joy, tell me a little bit. Ron, go ahead, you can start. Wow. You're very hip with the killed it. So the joy of having a Maryland driver's license, right? But you had a Virginia driver's license, okay, fine. and killing it, or as my niece would say, slaying it. At the University of Miami, congratulations. That certainly is deserving of a Ken Yehi. Ken Yehi, Ken Yehi, Ken Yehi, Ken Yehi. Who else has got a little joy? Yes, Miranda. Your band concert was this Tuesday. What instrument do you play? Saxophone. Who did? Chorus. Are you also in the chorus? So as far as we're concerned, it does not matter if the chorus was there with you. But your friends are in chorus, and we care about your friends. Okay. So, and how did the concert go? Chaos. So did you kill it? Did you slay it? Or was it just chaos? All perfect and different times. That's controlled chaos if I've ever heard it. Let's sing together. Ken Yehi, Ken Yehi, Ken Yehi, Ken Yehi. Who else wants to share a little joy? Yeah, go ahead, John. See, typically when someone says someone got their boot off, typically it has to do with a car, and it's been sitting in on your front the street in front of your house for like 6 months. Like, I finally got the boot off that car already. The boot is off. I'm so glad that you are walking free now. Mazel tov on your new renewed health. Ken Yehi, Ken Yehi, Ken Yehi. Jenny, go ahead.
Bill and my granddaughter finally started walking.
Finally started walking.
She was a little late. It was right before her 16 months, and she finally is walking. So we're all excited about it.
They catch up.
And now we have to move everything up on the
And now running.
But we don't care.
Mazel tov on a new walker in this world. Ken Yehi, Ken Yehi, Ken Yehi, Ken Yehi. Yes.
My great-grandson is 3 months old yesterday.
Your great-grandson is is 3 months old yesterday. Just asking. Jeffrey, is this your... okay. Fine, just checking. If you were a grandfather, then that's something else. Mazel tov on being a great uncle and a great grandfather for 3 months. Can you hear? Can you hear? Can you hear? Can you hear? Yes.
Our youngest granddaughter graduated from high school last week.
A high school graduate. Mazel tov. Can you hear? Can you hear?
Excited, yeah, I'm really excited. She's excited about going off to college. She's excited about going with her friends to the beach. And she has her first tattoo appointment in August.
You gotta be kidding me. That is not how it would work in my house. Yeah, well, she can be 18 all she wants if she wants to get any type of financial assistance. Sure, you're 18, but that tattoo will not be 18. Well, I see. Then you got, it's a little harder. It's a little, that's right. That's exactly right. Mazel tov. More joy? Jill.
We had some Malchus in the Simon family. Joe's mom, who's 96, she made a beautiful donation to their community library of 2 brand new state-of-the-art handicap accessible bookmobiles. So one for adults and one for kids, and they will go to senior centers, they will go to low-income housing areas, they will go
Wow.
to the park, they will go to preschools, and oh yeah, and they drove by her house so she could see it, and she's in a wheelchair, so she got to be the first person to actually take the hydraulic lift and go in and check out the first book.
All right, I can't resist. What book did she check out? Right. How to get your kid to fall asleep. Harlequin romances. Mazel tov. Mazel tov. More joy. Yes, Karen.
Our youngest grandchild of our 11 turned 3 today.
Youngest.
The youngest of the 11. So
Ma-
we no longer have crawling babies.
I hear you.
And on a similar topic, I'm taking liberties here because these are joys to come. The entire extended family, all of our kids and spouses and grandchildren, plus siblings of ours, will all be visiting us this summer.
Wow. That's the joy you're feeling right now. Can you hear? Can you hear? Can you hear? Can you hear? Tom?
On a personal note, I'm just enjoying tremendously having Noah play and coordinate the music, and it's wonderful.
Did you note how he didn't say, and you? Because I am not quite there. No, I accept it. If you ever come and you see me and Noah up there, all you see me is staring at him the whole time, just watching him play, because I totally agree. It's such a joy to have him. Total joy to have him. Yeah. Yes.
My joy starts out bad, but then it gets joy.
Okay.
So my day today started with a mammogram, then a DEXA scan, then a root canal that was not successful.
Wow.
And then I went to visit my husband who has Alzheimer's and he's in a facility. And he said to me, he hasn't known my name for a very long time. He said, "Hello, Provolone." And I said, "Who's Provolone?" He said, "Well, I love Provolone. I can't remember your name, so I'm calling you Provolone."
That is so sweet.
I thought that was so sweet.
That is sweet. Marla, I'm so thrilled. That is a nice way to end a very tough day. There's no doubt about it. Can you hear? Can you hear? Can you hear? Can you hear? More cheese in your future is my hope. Yes,
Okay,
Laura.
My joy is A, getting the boot off. I can walk without having anything on my feet. I can have 2 matching shoes at home. But I need to still wear something when I'm out. And my greater joy is having my son here for a few days to share this joy with me.
He was here when it got on, when you were in, and now he's here. It's like, you have to, like see the whole thing through. You can take a few weeks off in the middle, but you gotta bookend it for sure, there's no doubt.
I don't know if he trusts me to translate what the doctor is saying. You know?
Right, it's like, let me listen to what the doctor says.
Oh, I'm fine, honey.
We trust, he trusts you. Other joy? Yes, no.
Really to sing with Nashira again after I think 2 years it's been. Really incredible, super happy to be here. Loved taking out my old binder and going through my music. So I'm having a blast.
As are we, happy to have you back. More joy? Leslie. You have your husband there, you have your son here. That's right. I'm so glad. I'm sorry, Mister, I couldn't see you without my peripheral vision. I'm just trying to empathize. Whereas sympathize, that's what it is. Having you here and being part of Shabbat, Leslie, that is a Ken Yehi for us all. Ken Yehi, Ken Yehi, Ken Yehi, Ken Yehi. Anybody else? A little joy. All right. Baruch atah Adonai, Gomel Chasadim Tovim. We praise you, Adonai, our God, for you are partners with us in so many of the joys that are in our lives. Amen. So along with the joy, of course, is a recognition that loved ones of ours are not whole. They do not have a sense of shalom. And we have a blessing that we say for them because we know that by joining voices one to the other, it gives us strength when we're struggling. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to share with you the beginning of a blessing. And then halfway through the blessing, I'm going to pause and give you a chance to share any name that you would like for someone who is in need of healing. You can say a name in English, you can say a name in Hebrew, you can say your own name, you can say someone else's name, you can just think it. If you want to say a name, just when I kind of look in your general direction, feel free to just say it. Keep it organized that way. So the blessing begins this way. Mishaberach Avotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov, v'Imotenu, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, v'Rachel. Which means, may the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Leah, and Rachel. Hu yivarech v'yiraped kol hacholim shelanu. May God bless and may God heal all of our loved ones who are in need of healing, especially the ones whom we name at this time. And again, wait for me to kind of look in your general direction, and then feel free to share a name of someone in need of healing if you wish.
Healing for Bela Esther.
Bela Esther.
I have two. One, my granddaughter Suda is having some very difficult difficulty with a stone in her bladder. It has to be addicted, and it's very painful. The second is not that bad, but it happens to be anyway. My year-old Prius was in an accident. I don't think it and has a lot of repair to be done, which is going to cost me a lot of money.
So your Prius. I hear you. We fall in love with our cars from time to time. Other people who are in need of healing. Yeah.
Unequal Williams.
Yeah. Thanks.
Lily Rubinstein.
Paul Katzman,
Noah Diamond, Yulish Kisloka.
Reva Kelly, Murad Matara, Christina Feldman, Lori Eleanor,
Eric Harris and Mika Rom and Melech Eliezer ben Yosef, Beth Smith, and Regina Weiss. Bishlach lehem bimheira refuah shalema. May God send them speedily a complete recovery. Refuah tanefesh v'refuah haguf. A healing of body and a healing of spirit. B'toch sha'ar cholei Yisrael, amongst all who are in need of healing. V'nomar amen. And let us say amen. So we continue now with singing of Bishaberach. It's not in the prayer book, this version. So, but it is in the Shabbat booklet, handout, for you to follow along with. So please, this is Mishaberach. We pause now for a moment of silence.
Adonai,
Really, it's fun and energetic and great, and love it. So thank you so much to Nashira. Every week it's really fun and great. I want to share with you a little bit about this interesting Torah portion for this Shabbat, and it's famous because it's got some really one of the most recognizable elements of the Torah in it, which is the priestly benediction, right? You know, Yivarecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, yada, yada, yada. That's in this Torah portion. It also starts in taking a census, and censuses really are a big deal in the Torah. And so, I mean, in fact, this Torah portion is one of the longest Torah portions in all of the Torah as well. But probably my favorite part of this week's Torah portion has to do with these very weird, unusual, interesting people called Nazarites. Now, in case you're wondering if you are born a Nazarite, the answer is, well, actually, you can be born a Nazarite, but it's not something which is genetic. Because famous person who was born a Nazarite was Samson. Remember Samson? Long hair, seduced by Delilah, then he lost his strength. That's Samson, right? So he was a Nazarite. He became a Nazarite at birth, but not because his parents had issued an oath making him a Nazarite. You see, that's really how you become a Nazarite. It's an oath. You say, it's like something, it's kind of like, you know, you hear about, oh God, if you get me through this, I'll go to synagogue every week. You know, it's the same thing. It was, oh God, if you give me a good harvest, I'll be a Nazarite. So being a Nazarite was essentially an oath that you took that was special, right? That was, I'm going to do something. Now, what was it that the Nazarites were going to do? That they committed themselves to not drink alcohol, to not cut their hair, and to not come into contact with a person who is dead. Right? So interestingly, by the way, point of fact, people think that Samson lost his strength because he cut his hair, or his hair was cut. Actually not. He lost his strength because he violated the Nazarite vow when he drank. The hair was only secondary to the fact that he violated it by drinking. But I digress. Allow me to return to what I was talking about. So you have these Nazarites, and they have taken on these extra oaths, vows for themselves. The Talmud has an entire tractate devoted just to these Nazarites, which is a big deal to have, like they've got a tractate devoted to blessings and also Nazarites. So just to kind of give you a sense, blessings and Nazarites both have a book. So it's a big deal for them. And the Talmud talks about, for example, how you said the vow to become a Nazarite, or how you do it, what you need to do, and the intricacies of becoming a Nazarite, or what happens can you make a vow for another person like Samson's parents did for him, or for example, they would, what would happen if you accidentally made a vow, the Nazarite vow. The Talmud's got to deal with all these things, or what happens if you violate it? What's the punishment? So you need a whole book of the Talmud to talk about these things. And also it tells like some interesting stories that the Talmud talks about. Interesting stories of specific Nazarite situations. So here's a moral Nazarite question. So again, please do not think that I'm okay with what I'm about to describe. I'm merely describing it. But the Torah and the Talmud specifically talks about how
A woman can become a Nazirite, however, only if she has her husband's permission. Right? And so, because a husband can nullify a Nazirite vow that a wife made. So here's the moral question. Then this is a story in the Talmud. The story tells about how a wife makes a Nazirite vow. I vow to be a Nazirite, not to drink, not to cut my hair, not to come into contact with a dead person. And unbeknownst to her, her husband nullifies the vow. And so now she is no longer obligated to be a Nazirite. But she doesn't know this. And later that day, she drinks wine. And the Talmud then goes on, this is the story the Talmud tells about, has she violated the vow of Nazirite, and therefore is she obligated to be punished for violating the Nazirite vow? Now, what do you think? What do you think the Talmud said? Is she liable for the Nazirite vow because she violated it, but she wasn't actually a Nazirite any longer because her husband nullified it for her, even though she didn't realize it? What's the answer?
I'm guessing it's the patriarchy, because the husband nullified it, she's free.
Correct. The Talmud says she is not punishable for breaking the Nazirite vow. Until, of course, Rabbi Yehuda says, wait a minute. Really? She's not punishable at all. We have to punish her for something. How about breaking the spirit of the law? And so Rabbi Yehuda jumps in and says, no, she is punishable. But the Talmud says, no, she's not. So the point is that, I think it's an interesting moral question. But the point is, that's the Talmud talking about the Nazirites. Now, you might say, all right, that was kind of fun. What does that have to do with us? I'll tell you. We still have Nazirites to this day. Maybe. Maybe not quite the Nazirites of the Torah, but we have Nazirites in our own way. Let me give you an example. So, I don't know if you follow this. It's getting to be somewhat boring, to be perfectly honest. However, the NBA Finals, that is the championship games or series of the NBA, is happening right now. Yesterday was the first game, and tomorrow, was it yesterday or 2 days ago? I can't remember. No, yesterday, and I think, no, Sunday is the second game. There's 2 days in a row. Okay, so if you watch the game, maybe you saw these two guys. Okay, so here's one of them. I don't know if you can see, but if you can, this is a man who has painted his face to look like the Joker from Batman. Why did he paint his face and also dress in Joker clothes? Also, you can't see it in another picture I saw. This is from last night. Why did he paint his face? Because the best player on the Denver Nuggets, his nickname is the Joker because his last name is Jokic, and they call him the Joker because it's spelled with a J. He's from Serbia. Now, here is a Nazirite. Why? Because who wants to paint their face white and put red makeup all over their face and green hair just because you like a player? Or how about this guy? Also for the Nuggets, was there last night. He is all decked out in blue everything, including a blue mask that he's wearing, and he is going to the game, and I have to think suffering. Because no one wants to wear full blue man outfit to a basketball game. You want to be comfortable. How do you drink a beer through this mask? You can't. You have to put a little straw in. It's very difficult. So Joker Man, and blue man in all blue gear, they are Nazarites. What do I mean? These are two people who said, being a fan is not enough. I have to show that I am more than just a fan. I have to show that I excel over all my other fan league, that's colleagues for fans. All the other people in the stadium who just maybe wore a jersey, certainly didn't paint their face or come dressed up like that, but they want to show that they are more. Welcome to the world of the Nazarites, right? A Nazarite said, sure, we've got all these laws for Judaism, but I can do more. I can prove, I can show that I am special. I'll take the Nazarite vow. It's true. It's true. I always think about those people at the NFL, the football games, like in Chicago or Buffalo. It's December, right? And what are they? It's like usually about if it's in Chicago, or Buffalo, it's typically 5 friends from fraternity days who say, no, it's cool. I know it's 20 degrees below zero out here, but we're just going to take our shirts off and paint BEARS or BILLS on our chests and get on TV and get sick. But the point is that's going to show that we are special, that we care more, and that's the Nazarites. So now the question, of course, is there a way to be a modern day Nazarite without being insane? Because I don't think, by the way, that these people think that they're insane. I think that they think that they're just caring more. But we know that they're insane. But is there a way to legitimately be a modern day Nazarite without being insane? Sure. Absolutely. Be a part of Nashira. You're not insane. No, I mean it, right? You could come to services, or you could be part of Nashira. Come here also on other weeks and sing and learn new Jewish music and then sing it here. You could come to classes here. Choose to come more often to classes, or choose to give more tzedakah. Being a Nazarite doesn't have to be showing off. That's what Nazarites were, show-offs. And these guys, show-offs, right? When you see them, you think, show-off. But you can be a Nazarite in your own heart. You can say, I plan on doing more than what I've done in the past, which is essentially what the Nazarites did, except they needed to make it public. Being a Nazarite doesn't have to be public. Being a modern-day Nazarite can be private. It can be you committing yourself to more. It could be Jewish, or it could not be. But if you know, it's because it's more than just like a resolution like we make on New Year's. It's about saying, I'm doing this, and I am committing myself to it. It's like a vow. It's a vow to myself. A vow that you won't break. I know that these Nazarites of old, it's outdated. It's completely outdated. And I know that these Nazarites of basketball is absurd. But that doesn't mean that we throw out everything. It means that there's still room to be a Nazarite in your life. And I hope that you spend time thinking about ways that you can be one. So, I thank you for indulging me, and we continue now on page 586. And on page 586, we continue now with Aleinu, and I'd like to invite you to please rise. Thank you. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הרצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
ונאמר והיה אדוני לבן על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה
This is also a moment of sacred memory. Loved ones from our congregation have passed away quite recently, as well as loved ones from our congregation have passed away on this Sabbath, on this Shabbat, over the course of the years, and we refer to this as a yahrzeit. And so I'd like to share with you some names of loved ones who have passed away. First, those who have passed away recently. We remember now lovingly Howard Gersh, the father of Steve Gersh. Joel Berries, husband of Cheryl Berries. Teresa Weinschenk, great aunt of Maura Hedgecoth. Louisa Severn, cousin of Glenn Hedgecoth. Ann Stinson, grandmother of Hannah Goldstein. And the very recent passing of Laura Friedman McDaniel, wife of Ed McDaniel. We also remember at this time these loved ones whose yahrzeits occur on this Shabbat. We remember lovingly Jack Katz, Carl Lindauer, Sam Borelli, Lenora Cooper, Carol Finney, Paul Mangan, Stephen Dreyfus, Leon Maxwell Herman, Eve Rosenfeld Secunda, Meyer Goldstein, Gary David Keltz, Ida Straub, Millicent Eichberg, Rhoda Plotkin, Frederick Trifus, Harold Bernstein, Betty Nurinsky, Elaine Donefeld, Sharon Schatzberg-Hornby, Evelyn Weingold, Harold Sakobin, and Augusta Herman. And so in gratitude for their lives and linking their names with the rest of our loved ones who have passed away, we remember them now with the words of our mourner's prayer, which is called the Kaddish. If it's your custom, I invite you to please rise. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah
Bialma divra chirute v'yamlich malchute b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chaye dechal beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shemei rabba mevarach le'alam ulamei almaya. Yibarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudsha b'richu. Le'ilah min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, da'amiram bi'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, and comfort to every bereaved heart. And let us say, Amen. Please be seated. Thank you. Okay, we are very, very close to the conclusion of our service, and I am so grateful to Nashira for singing, to Noah for joining, to Tom and his accompaniment, which is so amazing. Of course, to Jonathan and his leadership, and we thank you so much. So let's see here. Just a couple of things to tell you. Men's Club weekly lunch at the Double T Diner. I mean, we should just have a big fluorescent neon sign for that one, because like I say, every single week. Anyway, they meet up, no need to RSVP, just show up. The Men's Club golf tournament is on June 16th at 11 a.m. That's Friday, 2 Fridays from now, at Bay Hills Country Club. So I just want you to know that I went to the driving range today to practice. Did not go so well. But it's always fun. You do not need to be very good. Most of us are not, but it's always a lot of fun. So please, consider signing up for the Men's Club golf tournament. It's a valuable, meaningful fundraiser for the temple as well. Tomorrow, I do want to point out that tomorrow is the Annapolis Pride Parade and Festival. And so it's a very meaningful and powerful expression by people in this community in support of those who are LGBTQ. And so please consider being part of that. And also, finally, the Temple Beth Shalom Young Adult Group. That is for people who are in their 20s or 30s. Now, if you have clothing which is 20 to 30 years old, that does not count. You need to be 20 or 30. No, but the Sunday, June 4th, that's this Sunday, from 1 to 6, Wine on the Waterfront Festival at Canton Waterfront Park. Weekly email for more information. Okay, I think I have said enough, except I do want to point out thank you so much to Jill Simon for serving as an usher this evening. Also, thank you so much to Lori Elenoff, who's not here because she's sick, but she still sponsored the Oneg Shabbat along with Jan and David Hoffman. So thank you to them. Okay, I think we are ready to bring our service to a conclusion with the Motzi. And after the Motzi, then one final song, which is Bashana Haba'ah, and you can find that on page 647. But first, a little bit of challah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. All right, yum. So Bashana Haba'ah, 647.
Bashana Haba'ah, Yeshua HaMelech Ziborim Rodedot, Yevadim Yerusha, Yesaru Tokasem Be'Mavai, Lavem Masadot, Otirei Ramatom Yireh, Bashana Haba'ah, Otirei
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Please join for an Oneg Shabbat in the lobby. Hello, and thank you to all who are watching from our stream this evening. I know some specifically who are watching, people in the city of New Orleans, along with someone and people who are in Heritage Harbor. Not going to say specifically who they are, but I know you're watching. So just say it. Yalla la 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 yalla la 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 yalla la la yalla la la Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. And one more, let's do one more. We got one more. Oh